Alright, we're playing a wall deck, so what do I do for the intro? Probably make an Attack on Titan joke, right? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And today, Kobe has sent me a modern walls list and was like, hey, can we do something like this in Legacy? Understanding that we would need to make some pretty significant changes in order to accomplish that. And Kobe sent me some pretty good ideas, some of which I have incorporated into the final deck list. So real quick, here is the modern deck list that I was sent. And the primary way that it seeks to win is with Wing Mantle Chaplain, which when it enters, you get a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with defender you control, and whenever you play another defender, you're going to get another one. And the deck was seeking to be this collected company value deck where you dump a whole bunch of walls into play, and the walls might go and do something like tap for a bunch of mana, which allows you to play more walls, which allows you to get more birds, and yada, 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 yada. But you realistically can't really be playing 4 and 5 drops in Legacy right now. The format is far too fast. So what I need to do here is take the core idea of being a wall deck and shove the curve as far as we can towards the 1-drop side. Now, roughly a year ago, I did try to do a Legacy Walls deck, and honestly, it went better than I expected. And at that time, I tried brewing around Arcades the Strategist. But that's a 4-drop, and Legacy now is much faster than Legacy a year ago. So I had to do some cooking, and Kobe suggested Plagon replacing Arcades, and here's what we're actually going to end up playing today. This is not going to share very many cards with the modern version of the deck that Kobe sent me, but I think this is going to give us a realistic chance at winning some games. So the last time I played a Walls deck in Legacy, it took me a couple of rounds to figure out that walking Bulwark is actually pretty powerful. Doesn't really look like it should be, but it turns out that once you turn the corner in the mid game and you have something like an Overgrown Battlement or an Axebane Guardian to give you a bunch of mana, this turns all of your, roughly 4 toughness creatures into 4 power creatures, and you can often turn the corner in about 2 combat steps. And we are going to have an absurd amount of card draw in this deck because of Plagon. And I'm going to try to squeeze a Caracas into the mana base here to give us the possibility of bouncing Plagon, or otherwise protecting Tamiyo. More on that in a second, so that we just have a very strong card advantage engine versus slower decks. Now, I do think that in the current Legacy format, we have to do something to interact with opposing combo decks in game 1, unless you are just so fast that you can ignore opposing combo decks, which we certainly aren't. And so I think Endurance in the main deck is going to hedge against a lot of the graveyard-oriented combo that is happening in the format right now, and stop us from some number of early kills. We have Endurance and Swords to Plowshares as our interaction pieces. And I have thrown Tamiyo into the deck list as well, because Tamiyo, while not a defender for the purposes of things that are counting defenders, is a very good 1-drop we can play with 3 toughness that we can later convert into 3 power. We can use the Planeswalker side, and Plagon will sometimes make that happen, but we don't actually have all that many instants and sorceries, so the backside of Tamiyo is less good. We're probably going to try not to transform her most of the time and just use her as a clue machine that occasionally will be treated as a 1-mana 3/3 flyer. Last time around, I played 24 lands in my Legacy Walls list, and I felt like I flooded out a little bit. I'm going to try with 22 today. That's about where Kobe's modern version was in terms of mana count. As far as the sideboard goes, I'm going to make one unconventional choice. I'm going to just play a pile of Rest in Peace in this deck. I don't use my graveyard at all, and I at least theoretically have Endurance to get me out of the first couple of turns versus the fastest graveyard-oriented combo decks. And so I'm just going to say no to everything. DRC, Barrow-Goyf, Murktide Region, Oops All Spells, whatever. If, in theory, we resolve a Rest in Peace, we are shutting off all of that graveyard-oriented nonsense with a hard stop, and I am into that here. Just quickly glossing over the other walls that you might not be familiar with. 2 of these are just cantripping walls, and then Ceruli Caretaker is a 0/3 pseudo mana dork. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and hop into some Magic here. Folks, if you need any Magic cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order. If you're going to somewhere like MagicCon Atlanta, check out that purple banner in person. They usually have some really, really good deals underneath it. So with that being said, let's battle. All right, my opening hand looks pretty solid here. Totally worth keeping. I have Tamiyo into a couple of walls, and then hopefully... Welcome to Legacy. Hopefully the card draw that I get from a few of these things ends up being fine. Alright, Mox Opal. So opponent is using this for Metalcraft. Resolves. Wasteland in the Dark? Wasteland in the Dark. Urza Saga time? No, just passing the turn. Alright, well, I'll play a Tamiyo. And let me just say, while the game is kicking off here, I need to replace literally all of the insulation on the house. So likes and comments on the videos mean a lot right now, as I'm trying to build up a little bit of steam on the old algorithm and do a little fundraising. So we've got a Memory Guardian in play, a 3/4 flyer. That walls my Tamiyo in the short term. Oh well, I'll just have to draw cards. What a shame. You can take your pick which wall you like better. Swords to Plowshares. That'll get Memory Guardian out of the way in a minute. Alright, my opponent gets some card draw, of their own. Throws down a Lotus Petal, and now a Thoughtcast. Now opponent is cooking. That one entered untapped for another Thought Monitor. Yeah, you got it. I will just go ahead and take this hit. I think I'm just playing an Endurance as a blocker. I think I'm going to play it out right now because of Metallic Rebuke. If I Metallic Rebuke right now, I get a Lotus Petal, whereas if I do it on my opponent's turn, I don't get that Lotus Petal out of the transaction. I might just want another Savannah. And we'll clear that graveyard. It doesn't matter too much. I have another Endurance here for if something like an Emery comes down. So now I can wall Memory Guardian with Endurance, wall a Thought Monitor with Tamiyo. Or alternatively, go block, take 3 from the first of these. You've got it. Opponent ended up chaining together Thought Monitor effects very, very well. I fucking hate that. That is horrifying. Everything else that was going on wasn't too bad. This I don't think I can beat. I just physically do not have enough mana to pay for the Ward 4 on this. And opponent messed up paying for... Kappa Cannoneer. They could have done that without sacrificing Lotus Petal, I believe. Good God. Alright. I don't think I can simultaneously beat all 3 of these cards. The Emery is not that bad yet. I think I'm going to do a Wall of Omens here. And I think I need to find the 5th mana to Swords this. Okay, I do have that 5th mana. So then, let's, I suppose, keep digging. Get the Tundra for variety. Drop a new wall. Plagon. Okay, Tamiyo. Tamiyo plus. Maybe that buys me a little time to do 5 mana there. I was kind of into the 0/3 Tamiyo body blocking these. That's an artifact land, which does trigger Kappa Cannoneer. Tamiyo triggers a bunch. Always yield to those. Kappa Cannoneer at Tamiyo. And the rest at my face. So if I block one of these, my opponent replays it with Emery, which is presumably why they kept Emery back, so I'm not going to block one of those. So I'll take a little bit of damage here. My opponent will just get a redraw off of Bobble, drawing Kappa Cannoneer. There's going to be another Kappa Cannoneer trigger off of Urza Saga in a minute. So redraw. That's not bad. That's the sort of thing that I am going to need. Get a Trump. Just quick lethal check. 4, 8, 12, 16. Not enough mana to do that anyway. So, awful Ward 4 here. But I'll do it. We are dead to any sort of Metallic Rebuke or Force of Will effect. Rough. Okay. That'll do. GG. So I want Force of Vigor and Null Rods for sure. Disruptor Flute can help with Urza's Saga. Ensnaring Bridge is not crazy, honestly. My opponent will have a couple ways to bounce it, but not all that many. I'm going to have to cut some real cards in some capacity here. I think I'm going to get rid of Tamiyos with Null Rods coming in. There is the Plagon Ensnaring Bridge Nombo, but I think Ensnaring Bridge is more about not letting Urza's Saga tokens attack than anything else. And then I think I will trim some stuff around the edges to round this out. I'm going to be a little bit worse at playing turn 1 cards, so my turn 1 a lot of times is going to be a Surveil land rather than anything else. Walking Bulwark, Null Rod combo in action. I think I'm going to Surveil land rather than play Walking Bulwark on 1. I can play Walking Bulwark around turn 4 and still get mana out of Axebane Guardian for it. I think I've got Lush Portico as my Surveil land, if memory serves. So let's grab that. Nice, that is what I want. So I am fine with throwing this down immediately. If it resolves, awesome. I'm not getting disrupted by the disruption spells that cost mana as of right now. Okay, cool, it's in play. This will shut off some of my opponent's lands, because they do have some artifact lands. That's Mox Opal. There's an Emery. But the artifacts Emery is getting back don't get their activated abilities. Memory Guardian is not overly scary right now. We'll get a Tundra for variety. I think I will play 2 walls this turn and drop the Bulwark. Oh, not going for the Memory Guardian immediately. Disruptor Flute on Emery seems totally reasonable. I will do a wall, draw a card. It has 2 mana available. 3 mana. Oh, okay, they're F6'd. Cool. I will get a Savannah Emery for Disruptor Flute. I'm gonna block. Feel okay about blocking here. Bobble is fine. Podcast is fine. That's fine. None of those cards do anything. So I will play Battlement. I'll make a gajillion D mana. I'll play an Ensnaring Bridge. My opponent's not F6'd, so they could have a counterspell now. Doesn't look like it. So now I need to find a Plagon to go and get a way to start attacking and converting my soft lock into a win. This is fine. Okay, yeah, my opponent is willing to just concede there. It's a tough spot. Physically hard to get to, like, 3 mana to do something like, what is it, Sink into Stupor, to bounce maybe the Null Rod out of play, and then the bridge is there as well, and I'm going to recast these things anyway. Tough spot to be in. So on the draw, I could think about adding 1 more piece of interaction, some sort of Prismatic Ending style card. I think I am into that. Just 1 more card. Well, it doesn't actually answer a turn 1 Emery. Maybe I'm a liar there. He did do a very good job of drawing sideboard cards, admittedly. Axebane Guardian is a little slow on the draw. I might do that. This is a hand that's not that good, unless my opponent opens up on Emery, in which case his hand is insane. I think I'm willing to keep this. Urza Saga is not what I want to see after keeping this hand. Battle. Emery is online now. That is Emery. Ooh, Pinnacle Emissary. That's a cool one. I haven't seen too much of this in action, but it's been good when I have seen it. I wonder how many of those my opponent is playing. So my opponent gets their redraw, goes up to 4 cards, and I will send Emery back to hand. And I am absolutely willing to play this game for a while. The hope here is that my opponent does not have Ancient Tomb. Nice. This is not going to be effective Urza Saga for them. My opponent could Pithing Needle a Karakas here. I think I use this as an opportunity to get an Overgrown Battlement into play. And we'll just see what my opponent does. No, it is Mox Opal instead. So Mox Opal is now online. My opponent's just going to draw some cards. It is a new Urza Saga, and that one is more annoying. New Mox Opal even, and a Thought Monitor. Sure. Looks like opponent is going to cycle some number of these cards now. Both of them. Make your redraws. So I think I'm going to do this immediately. Oh shit. Plan has changed. Could have gotten away with playing Lush Portico this turn. I mean, yeah. I'm doing it. Okay, opponent had the Force of Will this time. Saga goes up. Opponent has mana. I'll take some chip damage here. The Urza Saga tokens are going to be decent sized. Let's throw down an Overgrown Battlement. Then I will make some mana and do Plagon. 1 floating. Draw 4. Cool. I want to find some sort of ensnaring bridge, null rod, some sort of sideboard haymaker here. Although, honestly, I might end up becoming the beatdown. Draw a new card. Boy, that was a lot of land. I would love for these Urza Saga tokens to become greater than, like, 7 power, honestly. Because I am going to have cards in hand. For sure. So this is 5/5. The next card is 6/6. Land drop afterwards. Why did opponent not attack with that? 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, they wanted some extra bodies back. That's fine. I will take this hit. I'm at 12. Down to 5/5s. Opponent redraws. Endurance is kind of whatever. I think I am okay with starting with one of these. That's a null rod. That's not bad. This is really my good card this turn. Let's play some other stuff first. I will clear your graveyard. Now I think I'm into this. I will null rod. That is a consign. Sure. We get countered. Am I bouncing Plagon? Yeah. Then I will go blue. Replay this. Draw a gajillion. Alright, there's swords and ensnaring bridge. This is looking good. I think I'll just swords a token, play a caretaker, play a bulwark. Then I will pass, discarding some lands. Then in upkeep, I'm going to go ahead and Force of Vigor. Just take out some things to shut off Mox Opal. And I suspect we might have lethal walls soon. Yeah, we got the GGs. Walls, baby. We did it. Wall challenge. Total success. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Alright, I'm on the draw. My opponent has revealed a Yorion. I've got an okay hand here. I, in theory, would like another mana source. Hey, another mana source. Very nice. Let's go. Opponent has land drop 2. Good. Sorry about that. I was expecting a call that I needed to take. So opponent's got Aether Vial, huh? That is interesting. I think I'll just go here. So my expectation is that we are playing against some sort of Esper Vial Dirtle pile. Opponent might be a Plagon deck themselves. Main deck, Containment Priest in the Aether Vial deck. Welcome to Legacy, a perfectly healthy and normal format where nothing is wrong. Towards the Plowshares. You've got it. I am fine with just kind of vomiting walls everywhere until we resolve this and then do crimes. There are things like Orcish Bowmasters that could happen that could be pretty annoying. Some weird cost is happening, probably Prismatic Ending. Actual factual Stoneforge Mystic sighting. That was on Wall of Blossoms? What? Are you bringing that back immediately? Oh, you just don't care about the card disadvantage because you are going to bring it back. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Nice. Let's try to draw some cards. Forgot to play my land drop beforehand. Got punished. Opponent's hitting a walking bulwark and not my Plagon. Drop land. I'm just going to play Tamiyo off a Tundra. I know why I didn't play out my land drop. It was because I was thinking about Caracas as a relevant land that I could draw. And I was thinking about playing a land after, well, holding up a land for Aether Vial in respect of Felia, which Caracas also checked. All right, what do you got? Skyclave on Tamiyo. Sure, I will take 4. Now is kind of the point where I decide, like, how much of the beatdown am I? Because I can just attack for 6 here. Or I can set up for 1 more turn, which I kind of want to do. I really want this in play for more blue mana specifically. And I think if I start going aggro, my opponent's Solitude pumps the brakes on that. Technically speaking, I should have left up Tundra rather than Savannah. Hey, there's the Felia that I was playing around. You're not fucking around with that. Goodbye. See if, okay, opponent is not working that towards 5 for Yorion and Solitude. They've got something else. Is it just Yorion to hand? 3-drop. Oh no. That's a Flicker Wisp. The opponent also notably has Flicker Wisp plus Containment Priest as an angle that they can take in this deck to permanently exile opposing creatures. The opponent blinking Skyclave, that gives me a friend that I will just jump block with, because it doesn't do anything for Plagon purposes. Then they will probably Skyclave my Plagon next. Oh no, they went with Axebane Guardian. Okay. I don't like the way this is all going. I think I am going to take out the Bowmaster. I'm going to try to high roll a little bit. Draw a card. I hit a land. I think I want this Battlement in play. I want extra blue mana. So I think my goal is to have a pseudo combo turn on my next turn, where I get to tap Battlement for a ton of mana, play a Plagon, and then hopefully get the opposing board under check. Oh, rough. File is working up towards 5, by the way. I think I'm just going to eat that damage and kind of pray here. Raucous Plagon. Okay. So redraw. That's not bad. Raucous. Make a bunch of mana. Bounce you. Blue. Plagon. Draw a bunch. Do an endurance. Nuke your graveyard. I think my opponent's Solitude is going to end up beating me here. They can put that in with Vial this turn, blink it with Yorion the following turn. I take a minimum of 3 in the air from Flicker Wisp, even if I block all the stuff on the ground. Yorion to hand. Yes, I am just blocking here. Opponent's going to go the Yorion route rather than the Solitude route, it looks like. Which honestly I think is fine. I think they probably get it either way. A lot of triggers. It looks like I'm losing Plagon. Recruiter gets Witch Enchanter. Solitude is now happening. Dunking a Battlement. And then my opponent can get a Solitude back with the Overlord. Nope, got Felia back. Mana is a huge bottleneck here. I can attempt to draw a bunch of cards. I think I basically need to draw all my remaining copy of Swords to have a decent chance here. Those are all lands. Maybe I win this one if I be more aggressive very early on and I just try to pressure my opponent's life total, rationalizing that the game going on longer is probably better for them than it is for me. Unsure. I'm probably not going to sideboard too awful much here. I don't mind more removal spells. Ensnaring Bridge is kind of awkward. My opponent has so many Flicker Wisps, Witch Enchanters, Skyclave Apparitions that interact with it. It's not going to be super reliable. I don't think I'm going to board that in. And I don't know that I'm interested in hard graveyard hate like Rest in Peace. I think Endurance is enough for things like Overlord. And I think I'm going to go down on Axebanes for being slow here. It's also possible I survive a bit longer if I play out the land drop prior to that Orcish Bowmaster coming in play. Maybe trying to draw towards my Singleton Caracas was greedy. This is very awkward. not only am I not doing anything, but I'm also ramping my opponent very early on. I think the combination of those two things means that this is a mulligan. This I like a lot better. I think I'm going to get rid of my land and keep a high density of creatures here. And I'll throw down immediately. So the hope is that I can go Overgrown Battlement and then have a bunch of mana and deploy multiple walls. And that will keep me hitting my land drops. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I am supposed to do that here. I think this is still the plan. But Tamiyo is obviously the better the earlier you throw her down. Land drop 2. White Orchid Phantom. Sure. I will say yes to that. I will get my colors. Ooh. So that is obviously very strong for my opponent. Now my mana situation is awkward. I'm going to try to high roll and hit a land. Never didn't have it. Always have faith in the Wall of Blossoms. Bowmasters is a thing if I attempt to block White Orchid Phantom. Caracas is also a thing. Thoughtseize, I imagine, takes Wall of Blossoms. I'm wrong. I will take a little damage here. 4 mana. I will go ahead and Wall of Blossoms, draw a card, Axebane Guardian, I think this is just Paunch. 4/4. 14. Opponent's got Vista. I can attack for 8 next turn. I don't mind taking 2 in the air, that's fine. See what opponent's got. Disgusting. At least my thing's cantripped, you know. My Axebane Guardian isn't doing a lot. My Tamiyo isn't doing a lot. Tamiyo is just a funny looking Rishadan port. Stoneforge Mystic. There's like a black removal spell equipment that might be reasonable to fetch here. Opponent going for pre-war formal wear instead. That's totally solid. Yep. So I will keep playing this. But again, it is just a Rishadan port. I think my opponent is heavily favored right now. But all it takes is me ripping a Plagon, I think, to really turn things around. This is a little awkward right here. I'm going to see if my opponent sees this line. So I can Surveil, and if I put the card on top, my opponent can just kind of respond and get rid of it by bringing this back. I don't think I want Path to Exile right now. I think I am really looking for Plagon specifically, or anything else that cantrips. Hey, something else that cantrips. Yeah. How much is this? +2/+2. Okay, so 3/3 attacking isn't good. What about a 4/4? 4/4 is also not good. Suppose I can do this in a different order. Actually, no. Oh, it's not a wall. Or Defender, more accurately. So I can't do that on Tamiyo. To just attack in, get a clue, and turn it into the Planeswalker side. Yep. Goodbye, land. Hello. More other land. And I think we fetch the blue first in respect of Plagon. Oh, that's annoying. So I could try some sort of multi-block scenario on this. I think I am just going to take the damage. Lauren's annoying. You got it. So my opponent can bounce that and do that same thing again. Combat? They figured it out. Replay Tamiyo. I think I'm holding here. I think my next draw needs to be Plagon, or I am effectively dead. I guess Ensnaring Bridge is okay. I don't understand that, but okay. Now my opponent can blink the Solitude again to get rid of Axebane Guardian. Then my Plagon isn't even that good anymore. I think I am comfortable conceding here. I think this one is lost. I could try to wiggle for another turn or two, but they've got it. GG's. Okay, opening hand is fine here. We are hoping to curve into a Plagon and draw a whole bunch of cards. It is another Urza Saga deck. There's a whole bunch of the, like, Mystic Forge, Glaring Fleshraker, Tezzeret deck running around. Metalcraft on turn 1. But it looks like my opponent's... Nope, not passing from there. Sure. Swords is okay. So I will fetch... Want a white source, probably a green-white source. I will drop an Overgrown Battlement. And I will get a mana, play Walking Bulwark. And I can, in theory, attack for a pretty respectable amount of damage. But my opponent's going to have a blocker. So we might just be on a Plagon turn anyway. Ancient Tomb time. Hate this. This means one of the scary 4-drops are coming. Alright. So that is multiple keys there. We'll see if my opponent wants to cash in the Lotus Petal immediately. I think I probably would if I were them. 5 cards in hand. And a fog, so no walking bulwark crimes here. I think we are on Plagon immediately. I want to find some more stuff to play this turn. I did not find much more, but I found a little more. I want this to be a blue land. Probably blue-white with that many swords here. And there's an Axebane Guardian. So if I can, in theory, attack with everyone, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 16. Can't actually attack with everyone. But we're not that far off from doing some crimes here. Notably, I do have Swords to Plowshares available if my opponent drops a Glaring Fleshraker. Speak of the devil. So I will respond to this. And swords. My opponent does get a spawn. It's going to untap the ring, draw 4 more. 10 cards in hand. Do they want a Grim Monolith here, probably? Make some mana, untap it with Voltaic Key, then do something else. I'm a mind reader. Ooh. I can't answer this one immediately. Damn, they can keep going. Hate this. Because now the Manifold Key pays for itself, which means that it can untap Grim Monolith or the One Ring. Presumably Grim Monolith is just better. There's Tezzeret Cruel Captain, which is another untap for whatever they need to untap the Monolith. And there's still one more Voltaic Key in play, which is going to be used for mana. That's a Mystic Forge. Obviously pretty bad. And a new Grim Monolith. I'm going to transition into summary mode here, as I think my opponent is going to keep going for a while. A few cards later, my opponent casts a Pithing Needle, which they can use to shut off my Walking Bulwark or Plagon, using Plagon. And then it looks like my opponent is going to pass the turn. So, with 5 blockers in play, attacking is not the best. I'm just going to start here and make sure that that is resolving. Cool. So now I'm going to go, yeah, and try to hit something else cool to do. Oh, fuck, that was not the cantripping one. Whoops. Okay. Well, hold on, this gives haste too, right? Yes, okay. So you get haste, so you can either attack or be mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, 6 mana, 7, 8 mana. So I will be able to attack with 3 things that are not Plagon. So you're getting in, and you're getting in, and you're getting in. I think I go face. I think it is irrelevant. My opponent just goes block, 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 and then, you know, has another combo turn. Yep. They're just going to funnel that mana into Expedition Map. That's reasonable. Or an Urza's Tower. And now we go into, like, at what point do I want to concede mode? My opponent's going to have, like, a 12-card hand with Mystic Forge and Tezzeret, and I'll wait a minute, but I fully expect that I am dead, or effectively dead. That's the first time I've seen that emblem used. I think the emblem is irrelevant, honestly. Glaring Fleshraker is nuts. I do have another swords. I'll respond here. Hopefully my opponent doesn't Kozilek's Command in response. They're going to try to do something. I guess they can do a lot of somethings, actually. There's an untap on some mana. What a fool I was for thinking I could get rid of Glaring Fleshraker before my opponent got value. Just combo off on top of the instant speed removal. Easy. This deck is very, very good, folks. I'm at 4 when the stack clears, and my opponent could cast another Kozilek's Command here if they have one and literally just kill me. Or cast another Glaring Fleshraker and kill me. That is a Karn. Karn for Paradox Engine probably does it here. That is indeed Paradox Engine. So, I imagine that'll do. 21 card hand. I am comfortable conceding there, I think, once that Fleshraker is in play. My opponent's got a 20-card hand and all the mana in the world. Alright, we made a reasonable attempt at a game 1. So do I want Ensnaring Bridge versus Construct Tokens specifically? Opponent likes my deck idea and apologizes for taking so long. When you are playing that deck, you just have to do so many clicks. Like, that is the nature of the deck. I do not believe in any capacity my opponent was playing slowly. You just have so many game actions to take. So I am interested in lowering my curve. My opponent's deck is pretty fast. I think Axebane Guardian is not overperforming here. I think I'm going to trim on that and trim on Endurance. I'm going to keep a couple of Endurances just as a card that physically can attack the Planeswalkers without needing to jump through any hoops. Beyond that, Prismatic Ending is okay. Oh, that's awkward. I don't know. No green card for Force of Vigor. Swords might be dead in the early game. I think I can do better than this. I think the Null Rod type stuff is better. Now this becomes like, how do I feel about looking for Null Rod versus just turn 3, Plagon, draw 3? I think I'm willing to look a little harder. Yikes. I think I'm keeping here, and I am unhappy. I'm gonna get rid of Tamiyo and Swords. Swords is not green. Swords does not pitch to Force of Vigor. I am unhappy with the hand overall. Planar Nexus and pass. Hell yeah. Fetch. I'm unsure which of these two cards I should actually play this turn. Probably want a blue-green land here. The cantrip might be more important than the mana right now. A Dismember in response, reasonable. Pick up another Wall of Blossoms. Fuck. That does not get interacted with via Force of Vigor immediately. That is unfortunate. At this stage, I think I'm going to throw down Battlement in hopes of having a big turn next turn and just kind of giving up on pitch casting Force of Vigor and transitioning into I need to draw a Null Rod or similar effect to stop the One Ring or I am going to die. Tons of mana over there. No Metalcraft for this yet. Yep. Force of Vigor doesn't really do anything on this key, as my opponent can just immediately untap the One Ring or untap the ring in response. Yep. Not going to try to attack Metalcraft here. I hate this. My opponent has 3 untaps for that ring. Sure. So I can get cheeky here. My opponent is about to untap this. And in response to that, I'm going to take out both of those keys. This shuts off Metalcraft, and my opponent has no mana right now to untap the One Ring in response. So I hate that I lost my redraw there, but that was hopefully a pretty big moment. That is not doing it for me. Unfortunately, since my creatures don't have real power in toughness, because we're doing a gimmick, I don't get to like attack and kill Tezzeret there. Yikes. Saga in play now. That's another angle that I have to worry about. An opponent can still use Tezzeret to untap the ring. I couldn't pressure it. Monolith. So mana is very much not a bottleneck this turn between like the candle and the monolith and presumably some keys that are coming. Some untaps. That is probably Paradox Engine. And I will concede once my opponent puts an untap on the stack. There it is. Yeah. Now there's so much mana between like Candle and Grim Monolith, so much card draw with the ring. They've absolutely got it. GG's. Okay, my opening hand I don't think has enough starting mana here. It's absolutely fine if I draw a second land, but I can't take advantage of my Tamiyo's Clues or my Overgrown Battlement if I don't have that second land. Whereas this is much better. I think Axebane Guardian is the worst card in the deck. Underground Sea Gamer. That was bound to happen. And I lost what I think pretty easily is the clear best card of the hand. I'll make a land drop and pass. We're hoping that my opponent is a tempo deck and not a combo deck. I don't know that I'm going to race Doomsday or Reanimator with this hand. Whereas maybe I can get a couple of blocks in versus a tempo deck before Goyfs are outside of range of being able to be blocked easily. There's another Thoughtseize. I think Plagon is now my best card, pretty clearly. I could see taking an Axebane Guardian if you are afraid of some sort of infinite combo. Wall of Blossoms being taken. Sure. I will go ahead and grab my Lush Portico, Surveil. That is a good card that I cannot currently cast. I think I'm going to take it. It's a little greedy to take it. Because if I cast this and one of my next two cards are not lands, then I'm just kind of stuck. Ooh, that is a particularly good land. So this is card draw number 2. I really do not want Tamiyo to flip because I have Caracas right here to check Tamiyo. So we'll just yield to that. Wasteland is very good for my opponent. Fuck. And I'm a wall deck, so my creatures don't get to attack the Planeswalker. That went very, very poorly for me. Well, there are worse draws. The problem here is their Tamiyo races the fuck out of my Tamiyo. Like, they already have it flipped, it's already at 6. And it's hard for me to resolve anything that will stop Tamiyo. Endurance is good, though. Send at Tamiyo. With Tamiyo. And then I'll pass turn here. And I think while my opponent does not have another draw at a counterspell, or 2 more draws at a counterspell, I go for Endurance. Yeah. So now I need to draw another mana source for Plagon to punch Tamiyo. No! Oh, that's devastating. Alright, my opponent is on Reanimator and has reanimated a Wall of Blossoms. I'm unsure if that is better than just reanimating Endurance. I do not have the mana I need to do anything there. I am going to concede to Tamiyo. We got the information I wanted before we died, which is that my opponent is indeed Reanimator. And so I think I am comfortable doing this. I'll sub those for Axebane Guardians. And then I might do some amount of this stuff. The awkwardness with Ensnaring Bridge is that it makes it harder for Endurance specifically to attack flipped Tamiyo. I could play Prismatic Ending in one of my slots in respect of flipped Tamiyo. I don't mind cutting the Caretakers here. There's one card in respect of Tamiyo. I think I'll do this, and I think I am happy with like the redrawing walls and the rest of the stuff here. This is fine. I guess I could think about playing this game on all basics, but the multiple pips of Endurance make me less keen on doing that. Yep. Hand's pretty bad now. Yep, that was very clear. Honestly, I think I play one of these and Surveil Land over playing the second one of those, despite the fact that my opponent is a discard deck. I think it is too important for me to attempt to find a new reasonable card as a follow-up play. Let's get that Lush Portico. No. I'm going to do that next turn. I think I'm going to go Bulwark, Batch. I want my land to be blue. I'll get a Tundra for variety. And I'll swing in for 3. Opponent's at 14. Am I eating Entomb Reanimate immediately? No, that's good. There is still the further question of, like, does it happen on their turn instead? Brainstorm. Fetch to clear. Entomb Reanimate is on the table. Yep. So much for my 8 graveyard hate cards. With one more turn worth of time, I attack for 6, and then that is not on the table. Ponder, Tamiyo, Brainstorm. Not Daze. I have a Singleton Caracas to draw here. That would be big game. I'm playing a Dazeable Plagon accordingly. Not paid off, but that should be resolving. Damage mitigated at the very least. Next turn I get to attack for 9. Well, how does Tamiyo read exactly on the backside? It's -1, -0, so that doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, so the Tamiyo stuff does not matter. That denies one of my creatures attacking. That is a Murktide Regent. And a Tamiyo. Yep. So I will take a redraw. It's an Endurance. That's not doing me a lot of good right now. I think I'm going to put another blue land into play. Do a Trop. I think I'm going to put this one into play here. That feels lazy to me. That misses out on a clue. Unless my opponent is specifically trying to play another Murktide Regent pre-combat and they want that extra instant in there. I don't know that I love that. There's a Ponder. I think my opponent is still the beatdown. Okay, there is another pre-combat Murktide Regent, unfortunately for me. I am not dead. I am in pretty bad shape. Yeah. Okay. I think at this point I have to do this. Yeah. Okay. I guess I swords the big one. Is that true? Can I swords the small one? Put my opponent to 17. Activate Plagon once. Walking Bulwark twice. Get in for about 8 of 17. Yeah, maybe I'm the beatdown here. So I'll answer the small one. Just, oh fuck, no, that was a mistake. That was not the line that I just talked through. They Livy. Yeah, so the goal there was to deal 7 to 8 points of damage this turn, and the remainder the following turn, which I now am not doing. I will take that 11. And now I just need my endurance to not die, basically. So, Plagon on Plagon. Then we start doing walking bulwarks, because they can now attack as if they don't have defender. I will do that on literally all of my creatures here. Go to combat. Send everyone at face except for endurance. Tamiyo triggers, but those aren't relevant here. Oh, it's an Orcish Bowmasters for additional blocks. That's a big deal. I'm at 5. There's threatening 3, 6, 9, 13, 17, 21. No, I'm not getting anywhere near that. Okay, so my opponent goes to 4. Now I am dead if they find a removal spell for endurance. Yeah, you can grow the Murktide Regent. It is lethal regardless. It just does this ponder, find some sort of Fatal Push, Shoulder's Edict style card. That was a shuffle. Wastelands, whatever. Okay, nice. They did not find it. They get one last look right here. That turns Tamiyo into a Planeswalker. Oh man, I still won despite my mistake. Okay. So now on the draw, do I want any of these? I don't know how to get them into the deck, because everything that's here feels kind of necessary for different reasons. Unless I start just trimming Wall of Blossoms and Wall of Omens, at which point Overgrown Battlement isn't great. Overgrown Battlement is the thing that really lets Plagon pop off. Maybe I just have to accept that and we trim around the edges. Double Rest in Peace and Tamiyo. Big fan of this. And I even have Prismatic Ending for an opposing Tamiyo here. Nice. No turn 1 play from my opponent. I never want to be wastelanded. It is devastating here. My body is ready for Entomb Reanimate before I cast my Rest in Peace. It is Thoughtseize instead. I've lost a wall. That's not removal colors. Send it. Pick up my clue. I think I'm going to stay on basics here, despite the fact that that strands an Overgrown Battlement in my hand for a little while. There's Rip. Opponent will brainstorm in response. Alright, it resolves. Now that shuts off a ton of my opponent's threats, and I have Prismatic Ending for Tamiyo specifically, which is otherwise a problem from here. Archon in the graveyard. Push for my Tamiyo. Well, that's fine. Raucous. Am I fine with Plagon draw 1? I don't think I am. I am just going to play another Rest in Peace, so that there's never any, like, Brazen Borrower window where my opponent just dumps stuff out of play. Well, I did say I never wanted to be wastelanded in those first couple of turns, so mission accomplished. Ooh, I'm not getting wastelanded now. In respect of Bowmasters, I'm going to play Plagon while it's not drawing a billion. Okay, no Bowmasters. I'm not going to set up a situation where I have, like, Plagon protected by Caracas, since my opponent has active Wasteland. And that's just my opponent exiling the Atraxa that they're not going to want to draw. Okay, opponent just straight up passing their turn there. Punch. After no blocks, turn it into real damage. Drop a Wall of Omens. Take a redraw. I don't want that Rest in Peace. Pass turn, pass turn. We win. We beat Reanimator. Rest in Peace plan, like, very clearly good there. I'm not going to say that we always get the turn 2 to resolve it, but we did kind of shut off the Murktides at the same time that we shut off the Reanimator stuff, and we did like very clearly see that my opponent had multiple Entombs. Scoreboard worked this time. Okay, final round here. I have an okay opening hand. Rip my Endurance if my opponent is a Reanimator style deck. Otherwise, I am not sure what the best card in my hand is. Walking Bulwark is the offensive one. Wall of Omens is the redraw. Yeah. Never didn't have it. Play Walking Bulwark, and hopefully my opponent goes for a Reanimator thing, and I get him with Endurance, and then we take over the game with Walking Bulwark. No further immediate play. I think this is Overgrown Battlement this turn. A Trop. We still have plenty of green cards to pitch to Endurance. Ooh, no Entomb. Are we Storming instead? I can maybe stop a Gaia's Will line. Yeah. It is a Beseech the Mirror deck. LED. That is a Beseech the Mirror. My opponent might be just putting oh god, what is it? The rug enchantment, draw 2 whenever you play a spell, into play. Oh, it is Gaia's Will. Sacrificing LED with that on the stack. Hello, Endurance. Which one do I pitch? I think Blossoms. Yeah. I wonder if there was just a triple Beseech line that does not use the graveyard. Storm count's currently 6. Storm is 7. Storm is 8. I'm not so sure about that. I think I am going to go 2 mana into Wall of Omens. That gives me 4 mana this turn. I can attack for 8. No, I can attack for 7. I'm going to go ahead and play this, though. And just attack for 4. 14. Then I can tap this to attack with 2 creatures next turn, just easily. Axebane make anything change? I play Axebane with my lands. Battlements tap for 5. And 6, I get to attack with 3 creatures. So yeah. You can attack. And you can attack. And then fetch. You can attack. Combat. And an opponent is dead next turn on 2 cards. I don't think there is a win from here. Excellent. I am super happy to win game 1 here, because I expect this is going to be a very bad matchup. I will board in anything that is remotely relevant, because like my Axebane Guardians and Swords to Plowshares are both pretty bad here. So like without even doing any thinking, we only need to cut 3 cards to get in every piece of possible combo hate I can do. Do I cut Tamiyos? Tamiyos are not green for Force of Vigor. Tamiyos are not immediate redraws like Walls or other Walls. Wall of Omens and Wall of Blossoms both are. That feels weird. I think that's what I'm going to do, though. I need another mana. I have a Null Rod, which is one of my better sideboard cards, and I have an Endurance for Beseech immediately. I think I am willing to keep, and I'm willing to kind of gamble on a Surveil land here. Alright, opponent is on 6 cards and kept their hand. Might be going now. LED. Dark Ritual. Or other Dark Ritual. Infernal Tutor. Racking 6 mana. Something like Ad Naus is on the table here. It is Ad Naus. So I think my opponent's chances of winning are very good. They don't need very much Storm to just win the game from here. This is already lethal Storm in terms of mana. The Gaia's Will is in their hand. That's a little awkward. No payoff card. That's a payoff card. I now suspect that I am dead. Dark Ritual is up to 3 mana. Chrome Mox up to 4 mana. 2 Lotus Petals, 5 mana. 6 mana. Mox Opal, 7 mana. LED, kind of 10 mana. Cabal Ritual. Yeah, I think my opponent's got this. And now they know to play around Endurance. Oh, Chrome Mox. Double Lotus Petal. Followed by a few more mana rocks. Even more. Let's cut to the Wishclaw Talisman. We know what's coming. There's Wishclaw. Notably, I can choose to use the Endurance to make Cabal Ritual make less mana, but with 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds available like that, so doesn't matter. Like my opponent has plenty of leftover mana sources in play. Alright, there's the tendrils. That'll kill me. My turn 1 endurance did not do anything versus Adnaz. And I will run back the deck in the same configuration and hope for the best. My opponent got to see that I am on Null Rod. So I have the graveyard covered, and I don't do anything for other zones. I think this is about as good as what I can hope for this deck. And we'll see if it happens. Otherwise, I'm hoping to draw like multiple hate cards at the same time in a 6-card hand. So I suspect that I lose Rest in Peace here. No, I lost an Endurance. That is surprising to me, but I'll take it. Get a blue source in respect of Plagon. I'll shut off the graveyard. As we saw last game, though, it is very possible for my opponent to win without using the graveyard through things like Adnaz, and even some Beseech the Mirror lines can get there eventually. My opponent has floated a black, and now is pausing for a long time, and is going now. Imprinting a Thoughtseize. A Ball Ritual, which is only worth 1 mana. It's Adnaz again. That is probably a singleton. The Tendrils is in hand. I suspect I am dead. What is this? Storm 3, Lotus Petal 4, Dark Ritual 5, Chromox 6, LED 7. I assume this already kills with Beseech the Mirror. Another Dark Rit. Oh, there's Necro in there too. So this is Storm Count 5. Yeah, this is already just going to be lethal. Just the artifact mana is Dark Rit into Tendrils does it. Dark Rit 1, Dark Rit 2, and Tendrils gets me. Yeah, you can Thoughtseize first, I got nothing. Well, damn. GG's. Well, Kobe, we put 2 wins on the board while playing Legacy Walls. I'm going to consider that a massive success. I think Axebane Guardian was very clearly the worst card in the deck, and if I was going to revisit this in the future, I would turn this into some other wall or some other creature that can attack with Plagon's ability reasonably. I don't think what I am doing here is better than just playing some deck that has, some Bant Plagon deck that has Endurance and, like, the Delighted Halfling Noble Hierarch style acceleration and can actually fit in, Daze's Force of Wills, maybe some main deck Prismatic Ending, that sort of stuff. Maybe Nadu, because, Nadu is good. But we were able to turn the corner pretty quickly with these 2 cards when we needed to, and Plagon was solid. Tamiyo was fine. No complaints about Tamiyo this league, but she didn't go crazy like she might in a Brainstorm deck that just has the ability to flip her quickly. And again, we're very light on our instants and sorceries, so it's not like we are planning on returning those as part of the plan. Like, very clearly, we are not planning on doing that. But overall, this was a pretty enjoyable league. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts about what could replace Axebane Guardian, throw them down in the comments below. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!